morning, everybody. Get everything set up here real quick. So I can make sure I see when people pop in. Okay. Oh, okay. Hey. Good morning, Addison. Good morning, Michael. Okay. What I hear is a train wreck. That's obvious. I should have looked in the mirror. Oh well. Goodness. Okay. So I woke up and I jumped down here and got coffee and was looking for an inspiring thought. And I had no idea. And then all of a sudden, Abraham Hicks popped up at me. I went, hey! So that's what we're going to be talking about today. We're going to take this just a slightly different direction, but at the same time, the same direction as always. And we're going to just lean in a little bit more on A Course in Miracles and Abraham Hicks this morning. So get ready. It should be a baseball bat for all of us. So yeah. So I love Abraham Hicks and A Course in Miracles because it is just that, baseball bats. And as I was glancing through and literally just looking for something to pop out at me so that I could come up with a title so that I would have something to go off of. And I came across a comment in one of the Hicks books, and it was basically talking about, passing thoughts, and it was really not even a great quote, not good enough for me. I've already lost it. But when I read passing thoughts, I heard this voice inside of me say, "You're a bad crossing guard. You're a bad crossing guard." Okay, here's the title. You're a bad crossing guard. So obviously what we're talking about here is thinking, and with both A Course in Miracles and Abraham Hicks' work, what you have is the true acceptance and responsibility taking that we are each co-creators and we are in control of our life experience. Now, if you look at it from a more biblical way, we turn ourselves over and we ask for things to come in. But at the same time, in the Bible, Jesus commanded over and over again. He was saying, what do you want? What do you want? What do you want? Like you look at Moses when he parted the seas, and what did he do? He took control. He let the universe, he let God flow through him, and with great certainty. So he commanded the seas to part with certainty. That's how the seas parted, okay? And then if you fast forward into our time, into the great works of A Course in Miracles, or a lot of any of the Abraham Hicks material that's out there, it's just a different language. So I'm kind of setting this up on the front side because I know that I have a lot of people that end up watching these that have a very strong biblical background. And my intent in All Conscious Coffee is to envelop all spiritual belief, whether it is biblical or Buddhist or just a metaphysical viewpoint. It does not matter. We're all speaking about the same things. We're just using a different language. So it's like Japanese, French, German, Italian. We all say the word God. What does it mean? And everybody says that a little bit different. Okay? So now that's cleared off. And the fact of the matter is, it's either you like what I have to say or you don't. Whatever. So one of the things that was really coming through me when I just read that simple, whatever the heck the words were, about passing thoughts and you are bad crossing guard, is that we're a bad crossing guards because we really tend to not want to be. We want to be co-creators. We want to say, yes, I am responsible for this. Yes, when it's good. But when shit is hitting the fan and our life is bad, then we don't want to be responsible for our creation, you know. And a lot of my teaching and talk is about, what do you desire? What do you desire? What do you want? What do you desire? What do you want? What do you desire? Right? Those are my like 2 favorite questions. I know everybody probably gets sick and tired of me asking that, but I ask everybody, what do you want? What do you desire? And that's because I'm trying to cut right straight to, what is it at your core that you're wanting? All right, yeah, sure, you could say, I want a cup of coffee. Okay, fine, that's a small thing. Go manifest yourself a cup of coffee. Go get yourself a cup of coffee. If you can't afford to buy a cup of coffee, then pull somebody in that, you know, that's gonna get you a cup of coffee. Go meet somebody and they're gonna offer, right? That stuff can happen. But if you're having that, we become bad crossing guards. And what I'm talking about is the thoughts in our head, okay? The thoughts in our head. I swear, if people see that I am doing a Facebook Live, so all of a sudden my chat boxes on my screen just go crazy. Makes me want to just delete everybody who can't get a clue. So if you're watching that, there you go. If you're popping me a chat. But the crossing guards, being that crossing guard to the thoughts in our head, is all about really paying attention to what thoughts we are becoming addicted to, obsessive over. Actually, I'm going to use the word obsessive here. What thoughts we are obsessing over, because whatever we obsess over is exactly what we receive. Okay, now are you consciously obsessing over it, or are you unconsciously obsessing over it? So really pay attention to, because if you want to know what you're unconsciously obsessive over, look at your life. Okay, plain and simple. Look at your life. What are you manifesting? What is materializing in your reality? Because that's exactly what you're being obsessive over. So those thoughts right there. And it's really hard for us to own our responsibility as the co-creators that we are, because we have great control. Now here's a word that we all love, right? We all love and we hate. But I mean, I did numerous consults over the last few days and stuff, and over again I have people asking me, I just want to control this, I just want to control that, I just want to control this, I just want to control. So we want to control. The majority of people desire to control their life. They want to know how to control it better. But then when the crap's there, it's like, oh no, I'm not responsible for that. I didn't do that. That's not in my control. All of a sudden it's like, oh no, it's not in my control. I'm just letting go and letting God, and now I got a pile of shit. All right, God does not want you to have a pile of shit. There is no lack of abundance out there, okay? You might say, oh well, there's not enough of this in our country, there's not enough of that in my state, there's not enough of this in my city, the jobs are hard to find, there's not enough good men out there, all the women are crazy out there, I'm never going to get that promotion because everybody else that could possibly get it has already gotten that promotion. There's not enough clients for me to get. I don't have enough energy. I don't have enough knowledge. You hear all the not enoughs? That's all bullshit. It's all bullshit, okay? That is stuff that is made up of the human ego and brain, mind center, not our reality. So that is you focusing on me, self included, focusing in on that 2% reality of the 100%. So we're focusing in on the 2%, not on the 98%. We're allowing that 2% to control us, and we're trying to figure out how to control the 2%. Okay? And the end result of that is that we're really being bad crossing guards to our thoughts. Really bad crossing guards. So imagine the crossing guard at the school. Now we all pass through school zones, right? You got the person who stands out there with the stop sign, sometimes little vest on, letting children cross the road safely, or so we hope that people pay attention to the crossing guard. So you got the crossing guard out there, and the crossing guard is telling cars to stop, right? Stop. So she stopped. And dang it, I was hoping it wouldn't do that. And the cars stop and the children cross safely. So the children are a representation of positive thought, okay? They're a representation of positive thought, creative thought, playful thought, intuitive thought, really being, still being in themselves, body aware, all this different stuff, this like, I like this magical thought. That's the children, okay? There's this piece of us that is supposed to be the crossing guard. The cars are all the bad, we'll classify them bad, okay? Bad thoughts. They're the limiting beliefs, the self-sabotage comments, the internal voice that's always telling you that you're not good enough, or you're too much, or, or this or that, and whatever those negative thoughts are, okay? Those are the cars. Well, here's what we end up doing. We end up sitting in that little chair that crossing guards always bring with them because they're waiting on school to get out, and they're sitting there and they're reading a book and they're waiting until the bell rings and the kids come to the corner, right? And they stand up and they start directing traffic and children. Well, this is the crossing guard that if your life is falling apart at the seams, supposedly, then you're being a bad crossing guard because you've just sat on your chair and you're reading your book there and you're ignoring that the children are trying to cross the street and that the cars are just ignoring the children, okay? And what's happening? Your positive thoughts are actually getting just pushed off the road. Nobody's paying attention. Every now and then, the cars will stop and let a couple through. And all of a sudden, the cars control it because there's more of them than there are children. It's rush hour. It's the school zone. All the focus is right there. And all of a sudden, everybody is just not letting those positive thoughts. And what's the crossing guard doing? Just sitting there, reading the book. Just reading the book, okay? Ignoring the positive thoughts. Or every now and then going, oh, wait, I just had a positive thought. I want to focus on that one. That kid right there, I'm gonna make sure that kid crosses the road. So then we rush out there, we grab that kid, and we put the stop signs up, and we're like, yes, I'm conscious, and you may cross. Let's get you going. Let's get you on your path, right? And we help that one go along. But then we quickly go on and we forget and we allow all the other ones to go. So, I know, kind of a goofy scenario. Maybe it's because my kids are getting ready to go to school, but that was the thought that went through my head. So, are you a bad crossing guard or are you a good crossing guard? Let your life be the director of it. I mean, look at your life picture. So Abraham Hicks. I'm going to do a quote from Abraham Hicks here. Hold on. All right, so Abraham Hicks. It's not your job to make something happen. Universal forces are in place for all of that. Your work is to simply determine what you want. Okay, so stop trying to make it happen and just determine what you want. Again, comes back to desire, belief, certainty, and the way we get things to work in that aspect is that we're just becoming obsessive over that one thought, that one feeling, and it really is the emotional connection to the thought that you have to really focus in on here, okay? This was another quote that I got in here. Well, I have it highlighted at least, so it must have spoke to me. It does actually speak to me. Let me get the light in here. If someone is not receiving what they are asking for, it is not because there is a shortage of resources. It can only be that the person holding the desire is out of alignment with their own request. There is no shortage. There is no lack. There is no competition for resources. There is only the allowing of the disallowing of that which you are asking for. So are you either allowing it or are you disallowing it? That really is what it comes down to. So being that crossing guard is where you're either allowing or you're disallowing. So just sitting there and passively letting all your negative thoughts kind of run through you, or just trying to focus in, and maybe you become aware that, yeah, I'm in a really negative space. I don't know how to get out of it. I don't know how to get out of it, right? So that would be one of the thoughts, the things that would come to my mind, obviously, just it. How do you get out of that space? And it really is that you have to just lift your emotional vibration up a notch. So just bringing yourself up a notch. Oh, hey, good morning, Leon, Jason, Michael, and Amy. Good morning. Was not paying attention. Sorry, guys. But what you're doing is that by focusing in on that, whatever those thoughts are, or unconsciously focusing in on them. If you notice that you have a whole bunch of negative thoughts going, but you just don't know how to get out of them, notice also the feeling that is in your body. How are you emotionalizing the thoughts that you're thinking? Are you happy right now? Does your body feel good right now? Does your emotional system feel good right now? Now, maybe you've got one thing going. Maybe you're really working your ass off on something. I'm going to pick on work because it's the one thing that we definitely control. So maybe you're really in work mode. So you're working long hours, you're working hard, you're really, really focused in on all the projects that you have to have, but you're doing it from here and not from here, okay? So if you're doing it from here and not from here, what are the results that you're going to be getting? How do you actually feel about what you're creating? So it's like that person that's looking for that promotion, and they're doing all the extra work and they're picking up all the extra slack, but they're hating every single minute of it. Or maybe they're enjoying it from the aspect of, well, if I do this, then I know I'm going to get this. Certainly somebody will see me over here because I'm doing all of this. But then there's this piece of them that there's just like dreading it. And it's just, and they don't really even believe that they will ever get the promotion because they've been passed by 3 times or 5 times or whatever the number is, right? So they've been passed by. So that actually the underlying powerful thought and emotion connection is actually about how they're going to get passed by again. Not about I'm really, showcasing myself here. No, they're not really. Their efforts, their outside activity might be they're showcasing themselves. The internal activities are, it doesn't matter what I do, I'm always going to get passed by. So if that is the underlying current of thought there, then what do you have to do? Become a better crossing guard. Become a better crossing guard. See that, start, recognition is everything. You have to become witness to exactly what it is, and you're going to have to just, yep, I'm doing that because this is the result that I'm getting. This is what's happening in my life. So I can't not be having this internal stuff going on. What are those patterns? What are those thoughts? What are those emotions that I am actually addicted to feeling and thinking that I'm not even really consciously aware of? You got to become conscious of them. You have to become conscious of them so that you can change them. You have to be conscious of them so that you can shift them. Sorry, Michael Smith has this statement. He was just telling me, like, shift that shit. So I'm stealing it temporarily, borrowing your shift that shit. So I'm going to borrow it. So it really is about shifting that shit. And how you shift that shit is by just getting in there and becoming conscious to the thought, conscious to the emotion, conscious to what the underlying current is. Because if you don't pay attention to that, it will always dominate your life. And if you're not having forward movement in the way, if you say, here's my list of desires and wants, and needs even, and here's what my life is actually giving me. Now look at it. Okay, so literally do a Franklin T, which is just draw a T in the middle of the paper, okay? Draw a T in the middle of the paper. On one side, put what your top 10 desires, needs, and wants are. And on the other side, put down the top 10 things that keep appearing in your life. Now look at where they're not lining up. Where are they not lining up? Why are they not lining up? So when you read that list of desires, needs, and wants, what comes up inside of you? Are you going, yeah, I really want that. I really do. I really do want that. I just don't know. I don't know how that's going to happen. I can't see a path to it. I'm not being successful at it. I'm not having this. I'm not having that. Will that ever happen? Man, I don't feel this. I don't feel that. Are you actually having like a negative charge come up in your body when you look at your desires, needs, and wants? Even though there is like this magical little kid on Christmas excitement, like, yes, I really want that. Is the underlying current positive or negative? Really get right with whatever it is, okay? Because if it's not showing up, then it's a negative underlying current. And if it is showing up, then it should be on your other side too, okay? So if it's here, then it should be here too if you're really in alignment to it, which is really what we're talking about here. There is absolutely no way for you not to have what you desire and want if you are in alignment to it. Plain and simple. And that's, I know, it can't be that simple. It can be that simple. It's that simple. It's that freaking simple, okay? So you're just getting into alignment to just that right there. How do you do it? I just gave it to you. Go back, do the Franklin T. Where are you out of alignment? How do you feel about it? What are the underlying currents about it? There's your alignment or lack thereof, okay? So if what you really claim you're wanting is not showing up, the only thing blocking you from it is you. So hold on, time out. I have a kid here. I'm good. Are you getting a ride? Oh, I've been given 10 minutes. Okay. Okay. So thank you. I'll take my 10 minutes. Okay, so we're on the clock now. Okay. So it really does come down to that right there. So looking at exactly where you're at, and the hard work here is to feel the pain, because it's going to feel painful to you to accept your reality, accept your truth, and just go, oh man, I'm the one who's fucking up. But that responsibility, realize that you, by taking that responsibility, even though it might feel negative on the front side, it's going to be empowering to you, because you have to get to a point where you realize that you really are in control of what is showing up in your life. And there is no lack, and there is no competition, and there's nobody better than you. There's nobody more deserving than you. There's nobody that can do this better, create this better than you can, that should have the promotion and you shouldn't. There's nothing that should have the love in your life and you shouldn't. That should have, the money, the health, the house, the car, whatever physical real world experience you're looking for. None of it should go to somebody else. It should go to everybody at the level of our desire that each one of us has for it. That's it. And there's more than enough, with plenty left over out there, okay? So just realize that right there. And that's one of my favorite quotes, actually. There's your quote of the day. More than enough with plenty left over. And that's from Pastor Jack Holt from actually Kent, Washington. Used to be my pastor up in Washington, and I love that statement that he says. It's been with me forever. And it's just a really impactful, powerful statement, that as we get so caught up in that there's not enough. There's not enough. I'm not enough. There's not enough of this. There's not enough of that. And we look at it like, we do it with our money big time. We look at our bank accounts and we go, there's not enough. Well, yeah, if you got $3 in the bank and you got $3,000 worth of bills and you're 28 days away from your paycheck, and and there's all this stuff that's due. All right, yeah, in that moment, what is showing up for you is not enough. But there is nothing in the universe that won't support you manifesting $3,000 by tomorrow morning. Okay? The only thing that will not allow it is exactly what would be staring you in the mirror when you go upstairs, when you get up and you look in the mirror. Okay? That's the only thing that is preventing you from I swear, like everybody and their brother, it's men. All of them have been like popped like 5 or 6 times in chat because it's online. This is why I don't get online very often. But it's only you that is coming into alignment or not. So it's you allowing it or not, okay? Really, really look at that. There's nothing that is telling you that you can't manifest good shit like that. You deserve it. You have everything that it takes. You don't need more education. You don't need more time. You don't need more energy. You don't need more creative flow. You don't need more support. You don't, all of these things that we use as roadblocks are nothing more than excuses to support our limiting negative thoughts and keep us sitting there as that bad crossing guard in that chair reading the book and letting the kids not get across the street safely. Okay, so every time you go, oh no, I can't do this because, realize that you have just set up camp as that bad crossing guard. Okay, you're actively choosing to remain in that limiting space and say, yeah but only if, I wish I had, I wish I could. That's not possible. And I wish it was, but it's not. I don't really believe. I'm uncertain. I'm fearful. This has never happened before. Blah, blah, blah. Unalignment. So ask yourself, what are you allowing? What are you allowing today? What are you allowing? Do the Franklin T. There's your homework of the day. Do the Franklin T. Franklin T it. Top 10 desires, wants, and needs. Top 10 things are showing up in your life. Which things are on both sides? Yay. Those are the things that you're currently in alignment to. Very, very good. The things that you claim that you want, how can you get into alignment to them? And what is actually showing up in your life, because that's what you're aligning to. You created it. Pay attention to what your desires are saying, because if you say that you're desiring 10,000 a month and you're only getting 2,000 a month, then what are you really desiring? What is your obsessive thought? What is your obsessive thought? Are you really truly thinking, emotionalizing about the 10 grand or the 2 grand? If you think that you're emotionalizing about the 10 grand and you're only getting the 2 grand, what you're doing is you're focusing in on not having instead of having. That's it. It's a little tricky in the brain. You're like, huh? What does she mean by that? I'm focusing in on 10 grand. I'm like, I'm focusing in on 10,000. I know it's effortlessly showing up, blah, 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 blah. No. Your actions are, and I'm not talking about actions outside of self. I'm talking about actions in here. Actions in here meaning that you're consistently thinking and feeling about the not having, not being enough, not it doesn't happen to me. That's the common thought. That's the common feeling. There's like a, I don't believe that can happen feeling, versus a, woohoo, yes, I know that's going to happen. And I don't know how, but it just is. I mean, I've posted it before. I talk about this all the time. I write every single day. I write until I feel complete in my journal, my manifestation journal. I don't attach a whole lot to it as far as like details, but one of my example, like, I don't know how, but it just is. I have all the love in my life. I don't know how, but it just is that I make a multi-6-figure income from my online courses. I don't know how, but it just is that I have a fantastic relationship with all my children. Okay? I don't know how, but it just is that I'm in love with my life and my body. See those statements? They're all focusing in, especially like you take the last one, I don't know how, but it just is that I'm in love with my life and my body. I tell myself that every single day. I handwrite that every single day. That right there is really supporting the emotion and what I want to create. I'm not concerned about how much I weigh. I'm not concerned about how many wrinkles or lack thereof I have. I'm not concerned about gray hair on my head or not. I'm not concerned about, do I need to tone up or not? If I'm in love with my body, then my body is looking exactly the way I want it to look. I'm going to support my body. Okay, and my 10 minutes are up. Okay, so, okay. I'm going to end there because I do have to get her. She's got some tests to do. So, I'm going to catch you guys tomorrow at 6 a.m. Thank you very much. Either I baseball batted you into not having any comments today, oops, or you guys aren't just awake. But I love you. I love you. Please share this if it's in your heart to share, as always. Also, make sure I was on the Union show yesterday. It's posted on my wall here. Fantastic talk on commitment through connection and to connection, and how commitment, connection, communication, and conflict all go together. So it was a beautiful, beautiful conversation between myself and 3 other coaches yesterday. So check that out as well. It was very, very powerful. Please like, share, make a comment after you think about it. And I will see you guys tomorrow at 6 a.m. Bye. Love you.